What's up? This is part 3 of my Japan food tour series. Today we're going to talk about the big one, Mount Fuji. I like doing outdoorsy stuff when I can. And yeah, this has been on my bucket list for a while. What I ate while climbing this thing was a little bit different from what a normal meal in Japan might look like. There's also a bunch of ways to climb out the mountain, and there's also a bunch of different rules that you should follow, so I hope this gives you a brief look into what it's like and what you can expect if you decide you want to do it too. As you may know, Mount Fuji is the tallest mountain in Japan, and it's pretty iconic. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it. 3,776 meters, or around 12,389 feet tall. This was going to be a 2-day event. I was going up with my brother. Day 1 was climbing the majority of it, and then we were staying the night in a hut on the mountain. Day 2 was going to be the summit at sunrise. If you are going to climb Mount Fuji,
please do the appropriate research and gather the right equipment, make the appropriate reservations, and prepare accordingly before you get on the mountain. Please be respectful of the mountain rules and local laws.
Each year there are always reports of people getting hurt. There's pictures of people leaving their trash behind. There are people who have to clean up after you, so don't be that person. So let's get started. Breakfast at 7-Eleven. I opted to go for some carbs. I got an egg sandwich and an onigiri, which I also mentioned in my marugame section, but it's a little rice ball. This onigiri came with a little teriyaki sausage patty on top, and the egg sandwich was a little egg salad sandwich between 2 pieces of soft white bread. Prices. In hindsight, I probably should have eaten more because I was about to climb a mountain, but that's okay. There are 4 different trails going up the mountain, and they all start at different places, but you end up at the same summit. So it doesn't really matter which one you go up to, you will end up at the same place, but the trails are varying in terms of length and difficulty, and also starting location. The most popular one is the Yoshida Trail. It's the most accessible from Tokyo. I imagine it's popular with tourists and people who are coming in from Tokyo. We decided to go on the Gotemba Trail just because it happened to be the closest one from home. The mountain itself is divided into 10 different stations. The first station is at the very, very bottom of the mountain. The 10th station is at the summit. Most people start at the 5th station because you can drive up to it, and each trail has a 5th station that you can start at. Here's the plan. Start at the 5th station on the Gotemba Trail, hike up 6 hours to the mountain hut that we were staying at, which is near the 8th station, and get some rest before continuing the hike the next morning. One of the snacks that we had bought was a little brick called Kalorimeto, or Calorie Mate. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a little bundle of calories that you're supposed to take with you whenever you go do a strenuous activity, or you just need some calories to fill you up. It honestly looks like a military ration from the 40s, but it gets the job done, and pretty good. Just super dry though. We had packed water, but it was really hot at the 5th station, and the sun was coming down. Like, mind you, this is late August in Japan, so it's still plenty hot. But I ran out and I was thirsty, so I was really happy when we got to the first mountain hut on the trail. Let me tell you a little bit more about these huts. At these huts, you can take a little break and also buy food and drinks. Keep in mind, prices are inflated because of the accessibility of these huts, and they only take cash, so no credit cards are going to be accepted on the mountain. There's no reason to bring them. So I spent 500 yen on this little drink called Aquarius. It's kind of like a Gatorade. It gets your electrolytes in. After taking a little break, we continued on. It took a while, like 6 hours of hiking, but we finally got to our destination for the night, and this hut was called Akaiwa Hachigokan. I was beat, and this altitude was doing me dirty. Like, my head was pounding, my feet were killing me, and it was really cold at that point. If you're gonna stay the night on the mountain in one of these huts, you're gonna have to make a reservation ahead of time. So make sure you call ahead and put your name in, or else you're not going to be able to stay because they don't take walk-ins. I had made a reservation a couple of months before. I just called them up and said, hey, like, can we stay there? We're going to climb up on this day and we're going to be there around this time. And also that morning I had called again to confirm that I was actually going to be climbing and I was actually going to be there at X time. It's a little confusing, but once you get there, the workers will check you in and make sure you're on the list, and then you pay on the spot. I paid 8,500 yen per person for a night's stay and dinner. You also have the option of just paying for the stay, which is 7,000 yen, or you can also pay for the stay and breakfast the next day and dinner of that day. Again, this is paid in cash, so bring some cash. The hut's not big. It's honestly a little crammed. You only get a little spot to yourself to sleep. but it's lively. There are people from all over the place staying here, and it's like a little community, you know? Everyone's beat, everyone's tired after the long day. Hunkering down, getting some food, having a drink, and just getting ready for the next day. So my brother and I posted up, got our stuff down, got some dirty clothes off, and just took in the view. And then soon enough, it was dinner time. It was served cafeteria style, so people were just lining up in a line. You know what they served? They served the most perfect thing that they could have ever served. And it was a steaming hot bowl of curry and some hot tea. And unlimited refills, so you could eat as much as you wanted. And that was the best meal of my entire trip. Not the expensive Wagyu or bowl of ramen after a long day of travel, but this. Just this little bowl of heaven served in this dingy plastic container. My soul was happy. It was only around 8 p.m. by this point after dinner, but it was lights out for a lot of people. I think everyone was tired, me included. I went outside to brush my teeth, made small talk with this dude from Connecticut, and then climbed into my little cramped corner. And with my alarm set to 2 a.m., I passed out. I ended up waking up at midnight. It was cramped. People were coughing and sneezing all around you. And I think I just played Candy Crush for 2 hours. At 2, I woke up my brother, we got ready, and we started the hike to the top. I think sunrise was supposed to be at 5:30 or 5. So the plan was to start hiking, be at the summit by 4 to get a good spot to watch the sunrise. And honestly, the rest of the hike was pretty steep. I think I was half delirious from the fatigue that I haven't recovered from and the lack of sleep. But at around 4, we made it to the top. It was packed. People are bustling all over, even though it's 4 a.m. You get there and then there's this little clearing where there's the mountain hut, the tent station, and then there's a little bit more trail to go up all the way to the top of the mountain. And I wanted to go all the way to the top, so we hiked an additional 20 more minutes to get to the top. Once we got there, we just posted up waiting for the sun to rise. And yeah, the wait was worth it. These pictures and videos don't really do it justice. It was one of the most insane views that I've ever seen in my life. And it was crazy to think that for a brief period of time, we were the highest people in the entirety of the country. After we took it all in, we regrouped at the little summit clearing and went to the hut. And they have a little gift shop in there, so we shopped for some souvenirs. And yes, there is a post office at the top, but it was closed, so I couldn't do anything about it. Oh well. We got our souvenirs, we got our pictures, and then we were like, okay, let's get out of here. Let's dip. So we dipped. We literally ran down the mountain and got down in 4 or 5 hours. I raced some rando dude. I think the total hike from bottom to the top took around 8, and then we got down in half the time. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Come on now. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done. I even got this little flag to commemorate it. Let me get it. Yeah, so here's the flag. This says Fuji-san Sancho Tozan Kinen. Fuji-san is Mount Fuji, Sancho is summit, Tozan is climb, and Kinen is commemorate. Top of Mount Fuji, and it has a little date too, so a little nice memory. I got this at the souvenir shop at the very top. Again, disclaimer, the way I did it, which was in literally running shoes and a little pullover sweatshirt, that's not the way to do it. It can be done, but you'll probably be more comfortable in appropriate gear. Do your own research before climbing this mountain. Please follow all the rules to make it an enjoyable experience, not only for you, but for others around you. Even if you feel comfortable climbing in flip-flops, there's a chance that you could do something to endanger the people around you. So just be careful, stay safe, respect the mountain, you're gonna have a blast. So that was how I climbed Mount Fuji. It really was a sick experience, and honestly, I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, you should go. I think it's a side of Japan that you don't really see in mainstream media either. You see all these videos about Shibuya and Shinjuku and Kyoto and Osaka, but the people that live in these cities also coexist with these massive mountains and these beautiful landscapes too. And these mountains and landscapes and rivers were a big part in creating the baseline culture and society of Japan. Thanks for coming, and as always, everybody eats.